Let's talk about proportional relationships, dog. Linear stuff, proportional stuff, drawing pictures stuff. We're just going to jump right into it. That is a coordinate plane. That is my face. So let me move my face over there so that it's not completely in your way. If I'm being asked to graph something, you're going to compare it to a little guy called slope-intercept form. And it's not only is he a little guy, but he's one of the most important guys you'll ever meet in your entire life. Y equals mx plus b. When y is all by itself, the number in front of x is your slope, your rise over run. When y is all by itself, the number floating around is your y-intercept. That's where your line goes through the y-axis. Okay? So if I were to graph this, I would start at the y-intercept, which according to this, b is the same as 6. So I'm going to put a dot at 6. And my slope is negative 3 over 2. Now, a negative slope goes up and to the left. And so you go up 3 dots and left 2 dots because slope is rise over run. Well, I can't go up 3, left 2. So the opposite of up 3, left 2 is down 3, right 2. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, go right 1, 2, put a dot. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, go right 2, put a dot. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, right 2, put a dot, and I'm out of space. You draw yourself a nice little line. Bada bing. Now this is a linear equation. Linear, like line. Now, it's not a proportional relationship because proportional relationships are lines that go through the origin 0, 0. So this is what we call a linear equation. What's the slope? Well, we already discussed what the slope was. The slope was negative 3 over 2. What's the y-intercept? We already discussed that. It's 6. What's the x-intercept? Well, looking at the picture here, my line goes through the x-axis at 4, so the x-intercept is 4. You might have some people say the y-intercept is the point 0.06, which makes sense because the point 0.06 is right there. And some people might say that the y or the x-intercept is the point 0.40. It all depends on the teacher. It all depends on the test. It all depends on what you're dealing with, that you're going to have to be very specific with your labeling of the intercepts. The labeling of the intercepts. Write out the slope formula. Well, the slope formula is not that guy. That's the green guy. That's slope-intercept form. Hold on, let me... What's the slope formula? The slope formula is how you find the slope if you don't have a picture. So you say m equals y sub 2. Let me make myself a little bit more space. M equals, M for slope, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. You use the slope formula when you don't have a graph, and instead you have 2 points. This is how you use m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. You're given 2 points, and you label one of your points. It doesn't matter which one. You label one of your points x sub 1, y sub 1. You label the other point x sub 2, y sub 2. It doesn't matter which one you call x sub 1, y sub 1, because it's going to work out mathematically anyway, as long as it's xy and as long as it's 1, 1, and 2, 2. Don't mix up the 1s and 2s and don't flip the x's and the y's. I'm going to rewrite out my equation. M equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Y sub 2, I know I accidentally wrote over it. Y sub 2 is 5. Y sub 1 is 7. So I'm going to replace y sub 2 with 5, put a minus sign there. Y sub 1 is 7. Put that over. x sub 2, which is negative 3, there it is right there, minus x sub 1, which is negative 6. Ooh, I see a double negative. Let's make that a positive. So I have 5 minus 7, which is negative 2. I have negative 3 plus 6, which is 3, and I get negative 2 over 3. Nice. Nice. Let's move my face over. Gotta see the whole thing. You gotta see the whole thing. All right. Let's do it again. Oh, I see something, but I'm not going to say it. I see something, but I'm not going to say it. I see something, but I'm not going to say it. X sub 1, Y sub 1. X sub 2, Y sub 2. M equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. That's a 1. Y sub 2 is 7. Y sub 1 is 5. 7 minus 5. And x sub 2 is negative 4. Minus negative 4 again. Oh boy. Double negative makes it a positive. Beep, beep. 7 minus 5 is 2. 2 over 0. What's 2 over 0? What's 2 over 0? Well, 2 over 0 is undefined. And look at that. I accidentally wrote the up and down line. Up and down is undefined. Up and down is undefined. Up and down is undefined. This is undefined. Anything divided by 0 is undefined. I knew that right away because I saw the negative 4 and the negative 4 for the x values. If the x values in your points are the same, the answer is going to be undefined. If your y values are the same, then it's going to be 0, because if I were to graph the y values being the same, you get a horizontal line. When the x values are the same, you get a vertical, and that's undefined. How about that? So let's look at a bunch of examples. You ready? I sure am. All right, so 20-minute. Let's see how long it takes us. Which proportional relationship can be shown with the equation y equals 15x? Well, that is proportional because it would go through the origin. But let's see what they want. The amount of money Tasha has left after she spends $15 for a concert ticket. No, that doesn't make sense. Usually when you have 15x, that usually means like 15 something per something, like $15 per hour, 15 miles per gallon, 15 blah per blah. So that's what we're looking for. So it's not A. A doesn't make, you're not going to have leftovers. The amount Tasha spends if she and her sister split a $15 restaurant bill equally, no, that would be division. The amount Tasha earns for 7 hours of babysitting and 6 hours of dog walking, that, or 8 hours of dog walking, still, that doesn't make sense. And the amount Tasha earns for babysitting if she charges $15 an hour per hour, that's the one. So when you see 15x, that usually means something per something, something. What is the slope of the line? Well, this is a negative one, so it's going to be negative. Does that eliminate any possible answers? Yep. Slope is rise over run, so I need to pick a point. So I'll pick a point here, and I'll pick a point here. I'm going to rise 1, run 1, 2. So it's rise 1, run 2, and it was negative, so it's negative a half, and it's that guy. Okay. What is the y-intercept of the equation y equals 3x plus y? Well, what I said in the previous screen is when y is all by itself, the number floating around is the y-intercept. Y is not all by itself. I have a negative 3x on the left side with y, so I have to get rid of a negative 3x. Right now, I'm not allowed to just say my y-intercept is that because y is not all by itself yet. I have to get rid of a negative 3x. How do I do that? The opposite of negative 3x, which is positive 3x. So I'm going to add 3x. I'm going to add 3x. This cancels out. Ugh. I'm going to add 3x, and that cancels out. Is y alone now? Yup. I'm going to write out the 3x first because it looks like slope-intercept form. 3x and 6 don't combine, so it's a positive 3x and a positive 6. My y-intercept is 6, which is the 0.06 as we said on that first slide. Not 60, not 63, none of those 3's there. That's my y-intercept. All right. What is the slope of that line? Well, it's positive. Every grid goes by 1, so I go up 1, 2, so it's positive 2 over 1, 2, 3, so it's 2 over 3, which is A. What is the equation of a line with a slope of negative 3 that contains the 0.06? Well, if the slope is negative 3, then I have a slope, so I'm going to put a little arrow to it and call it M. 0, negative 3 is a y-intercept, so I'm going to call that B. So if I'm comparing it to y equals mx plus b, if my slope is negative 3, then I have y equals negative 3x plus 3. Y equals negative 3x plus 3, which is B. And I don't know why they put it backwards. I mean, it's not wrong. It's just backwards. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it at all. What's the equation of this line? I'm going to hide the options as best as I can. All right. Equations are in the form y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Let's find the slope. So I need 2 points. We'll put a point here and a point here. It's a negative slope. So if I go up 1 over 2, my slope is negative 1 over 2. My b is where the line goes through the y-axis, and that happens at negative 1. So my b is negative 1. When I put all of this together, y equals, I'm going to replace m with negative 1/2. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus negative 1, which is just going to be minus 1. So let's see which one that is. Negative 1/2 x minus 1 is going to be you, and it's going to be day. Justin Timberlake. Remember, you can't spell linear functions without fun, right, kids? Yeah. So, thank you. So, problem 7. A line has a slope of 3/2 and a y-intercept of negative 2. Well, this ain't bad because all I have to do is just write out slope-intercept form and everything there is there for me. Y equals mx plus b. The slope is 3 over 2, so y equals 3 over 2x plus the y-intercept is negative 2, so negative 2. So it's just y equals 3/2 x minus 2. Easy. Too easy. In fact, too easy. This one, not so much. Several ways that you can do this. You can figure out patterns. I mean, the slope is the change in y over the change in x. So I could do it that way where I could be like, well, it looks like y goes up by 4 every time, and it looks like x goes up by 1 every time. So the change in y's over the change in x is going to be 4 over 1. But I'm going to pretend I never did that, and I'm going to erase it. And let's use the old slope formula because why not? It's good practice. I'm going to pick 2 points. How about 0, 1, and 1, 5? Doesn't matter which points I pick. I'm just going to pick 2 points, 0, 1, and 1, 5. I'm going to label those points. X sub 1, y sub 1. Doesn't matter which one it is. X sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2. I'm going to write out my slope formula over here. M equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Then we'll plug it in. Y sub 2 is 5. Y sub 1 is 1. So 5 minus 1. X sub 2 is 1, and x sub 1 is 0, so 1 minus 0. Four over 1 is 4. Just like we saw the pattern. Remember, the y's go up by 4. The x's go up by 1. So 4 over 1 is 4. All right? All right. Susan rode her bike for 30 kilometers in 2.5 hours. How fast did she ride her bike in kilometers per hour? All right, well, 30 kilometers per 2.5 hours is going to be 18 kilometers per hour. 30 divided by 2.5. I'm just having the darndest time. It is 18 kilometers per hour. Kilometers, hours, unit rates. 18. What proportional relationship could be represented by the graph? Remember, proportional means it goes through 0, 0. This guy goes through 0, 0. I'm just going to keep saying that phrase because I feel it's not said enough. So what's going on here? Some dude is riding his bike a certain amount of time. So before I even look at the options, it looks like every block moving up is 5. So up 5, 10, 15, 20. So when you go up 3, you actually rise 15. But when you go over 1, you go over actually 1. So 15 over 1, 15 miles per 1 hour is the same as 15 miles per hour. Mark bicycled for less than 5 hours. Well, I don't know if that's true. Mark bicycles 50 miles an hour faster than Marty. Who the crap is Marty? Well, it's actually Marcy. Never mind. Mark bicycles at a speed of 15 miles an hour. Mark is bicycling at a steady increasing speed. Now, you might think increasing, this line's going up. What a steadily increasing speed means is he starts out at 2 miles an hour, then goes 4, then goes 5, then goes 6. And that graph is not a straight line. That graph will look like this, and that's not what's going on. So it's C, 15 miles an hour, just like I said. Sue Lee made a graph to show what she charges her dog walking service. 2 points on the graph. What's the slope? Well, we just did one of these, so let me rewrite out the points. So actually, I won't rewrite out the points. I'll call you x sub 1. I'll call you y sub 1. I'll call you x sub 2, and I'll call you y sub 2. M equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Y sub 2 was 160 minus y sub 1 is 60. X sub 2 is 8. minus x sub 1 is 3. That's supposed to say 60, but it doesn't look like 60. That simplifies to 100 over 5, which is 20. So I'm going to circle that guy right there. Cool. Another page done. The equation D equals 30t, which probably has to do with distance and time, shows boat A moving at a constant speed of 30 miles an hour. I knew that already. Boat B is moving faster than boat A. A student graphs equations for both boats on the same grid, which must be true. So, all right, well, let's just understand things. If we're gonna graph our equations here, boat A is going to look like something, and boat B is going to be steeper. So the graph of boat B is going to be steeper because B is moving faster. So the two graphs have the same slope? Nope. The two graphs have different y-intercepts? Nope, not if they start at the same place. The slope for boat A is greater than B? Nope. The slope for boat B is going to be greater than A? Dunzo. Easy. This table shows a proportional relationship. Proportional relationship, again, means it just goes through 0, 0. I've said that 50 times. But we should be able to look at this and say, I can see the pattern. Every time x goes up by 1, it appears that this goes up by 1.2. So I'm going to go up by 1.2. So I'm going to write it sideways because I don't have enough space. So 1.2 means 3.6, and 1.2 is 4.8, and 1.2 is 6.0, and that represents $6. But here's the trick. Oh, it's not just $6, it's $6,000. What? You better believe I have cash like that. I have so much money in my wallet, it's bursting at the seams. Oh, that's not true at all. That's why I'm desperate to get this YouTube thing working. Janelle graphed the equation y equals a quarter x. Well, I'm going to change the way that looks. That's proportional because it's y equals a quarter x. So y equals a quarter x. I'm just going to change that. Y equals 1/4 x. Which is not true. So I want the lie. Which is not true. The slope is a quarter. Well, that is true, so I don't want that. The y-intercept is 0.25. Well, no, the y-intercept is 0. So that's a lie. B is our answer because that's the lie. You're kidding me. I'm going to hit the pause button. All right, last problem. Where does the graph y equals negative 3x plus 15 intersect the vertical axis? Well, vertical axis, what does vertical mean? All of you NBA athletes know exactly that vertical means straight up and down. So vertical axis is the same as the y-axis. So what it's asking is, what is the y-intercept of that guy? And it's 15. So if I were to put a dot at 15, one of the things that we have to be careful of, because it's either going to be B or C, one of the things that we have to be careful of is if it's 15, that point is 0, 15, because you don't move left or right and you move up 15. Okay? So that's it. That's the end of packet 3. Oh my gosh. Oh. That's the end of packet 3. Stay blessed. Bye.